Wembley, our national soccer stadium, the place that every footballer dreams of playing at. John Rudge won there a week ago. Ozzy Ardiles has done it as a player. Now he wants promotion as a manager. But for whom is today tailor-made? 40,000 fans will cheer along Bob. He scored 37 for West Bromwich Albion this season. Ian was driving forklift trucks and playing local league this time last year. His stunning arrival on a big soccer stage has brought him 19 goals in all. Live from Wembley, the teams come out. It's the second division playoff, and at the end of the afternoon, either Port Vale or West Bromwich Albion will be in the first division. And there is Ozzy Ardiles leading his team out. Ahead of the Port Vale team is a young man for whom it's a very special day. We hope to catch a glimpse of him in just a moment. And he's a young 11-year-old boy called Christopher Moulton. He's got a brain tumour and he's specially been selected to be their mascot today. By the sight of things, there are going to be more West Brom fans there. Will they out-cheer them? Well, who knows, we shall see. Jimmy Greaves, welcome this afternoon.
Yes.
Port Vale were there a week ago and they won a cup. Is that any advantage at this stage?
Yes, I think it is, Bob, because they will know what it's like. They've achieved a bit of success there within a week, and I think they're the better side, in fairness.
Sounds as though you think Port Vale are the winners.
Not at all.
West Brom are the winners.
West Brom,
yes.
no, I'm going for the Baggies. They've been supporting my eyes for years, Bob, and I'm going to but no, and they've got a better TV gantry as well, of course, and you have to think of these things when
As
the
you get
winter
older.
comes. That's
Yes.
right.
But
I think it's going to be a tight game. West Brom, I think, good football inside. Port Vale, strong, know what it's all about. Could be very tight, Bob.
And it's quite an atmosphere, isn't it, when you get out there, Jim?
What, they'll love it out there today. Look at it, that's absolutely... I mean, you look at a crowd like that and say, well, it's wonderful that they can be at a game like this.
We're back at Wembley after this break. You got that wrong. You thought it was Ronnie Allen in 54. Do you stick with West Brom?
I forgot, Jeffrey. Let's hope it's a good game, Bob. I mean that. And let's hope that it's won over 90 minutes, which is the right time.
We settle back. You won't miss a second. We're going live to Wembley Stadium. John Sillett, a Wembley veteran of '87. Your match commentator is Alan Parry.
And welcome to Wembley and a really magical atmosphere for the game which decides which of these two major clubs will join the Midlands elite in the First Division next season. Well, just 12 months ago, Port Vale were relegated after finishing bottom of the old Second Division, and the prospect of playing at the world's most famous stadium seemed further away than ever. Now they face the prospect of promotion, and after waiting 117 years to visit Wembley, they're back here for the second time in 8 days. John Rudge, not surprisingly, has picked the same 13 that won the Autograss Trophy here against Stockport County. Defender Peter Swan, their only doubt, having overcome a stomach injury. Well, being back at Wembley so soon could give Vale an edge, but having beaten West Bromwich Albion twice in the league might be an even bigger advantage. What's John Rudge's view?
We have beaten them twice. We finished higher than them in the table. We've got to go and win the game again today.
Wasn't an advantage playing at Wembley last weekend?
We'll soon find out. I would think that it is a slight advantage, but it's all on the day. That won't guarantee us winning the match.
How do you feel about deciding promotion this way?
It's an exciting finish to the season, but when you've actually got 89 points, it seems a little bit cruel that we've got to play another match after playing 46 matches. But we all knew the rules before the start of the season.
Well, West Brom are at Wembley for the first time in 23 years since they lost to Manchester City in the League Cup final here in 1970. They finished fourth in the table with 85 points, 1 place and 4 points behind Port Vale. Defender Daryl Burgess is out injured. His place goes to Gary Strother. Otherwise, the Baggies are at full strength, and they certainly have the edge here in terms of support, with over 40,000 fans outnumbering Vale's following by a very significant margin. So, a question for Ozzy Ardiles' right-hand man, Keith Birkinshaw. Just how big an advantage will the Baggies' massive following be?
Well, it's amazing that I've been here so often to this place, and I don't think that I've ever seen as many supporters supporting one team as what we had when we came through into the stadium on the bus there. It was absolutely unique and really pleased for everybody. The atmosphere that's going to be generated this afternoon will be tremendous.
Yes, 40,000 Albion fans here and two very good footballing sides.
Yes, I think that we need that this afternoon because it's a really strong blustery wind, and the more we keep it on the deck, the better it's going to be. So hopefully the football can flow a little bit, and it's going to be a game that everybody can enjoy.
Two good football sides, and I'm glad to say a referee who always lets the game flow and deserves praise for treating players as adults, the West Countryman, Mr. Roger Milford. So, John Sinnott, it looks as though we're all set here on paper for a classic.
Wonderful atmosphere. If it comes to backing, West Brom have got that behind them. It's superb following their brought down with them, but it doesn't. It comes to football. Both sides are capable of playing good football. Both sides can play attacking football. I think we're in for a treat this afternoon.
West Bromwich Albion in their changed colours of yellow and green. Port Vale in their first choice strip of white shirts and black shorts. It'll be Albion who get this playoff final underway, with Port Vale attacking from left to right, and significantly Port Vale have the backing, maybe not of a big crowd here, not as big as Albion's anyway, but they do have a very, very strong wind behind them here in the first half. A free kick in the first 5 seconds of the game, and it's gone Albion's way. Foul there by Paul Kerr, who scored the opening goal a week ago in the Autoglass Trophy. Stoddard takes the free kick for Albion. Here's Lilwall. And the ball breaks clear for Hamilton. Forced away again by Porter. And Strodder in possession once again, but he's given it away to Neil Aspin. Forward by Kent. And Strodder very busy in the opening seconds here for Albion. Kent again. Little back heeler, which Lilwall read well. Saw Steve Lilwall playing here for Kidderminster Harriers just a couple of years ago in the FA Trophy final against Wycombe Wanderers. Big rise in fame in his career. And he's made the most of it in his first season in the pro game. Another man who might not have expected to be here, Tony Lang, who only won his regular place in the Albion goal a couple of months ago when Stuart Naylor was dropped. He too has taken his chance literally with both hands. Dean Glover, the captain, is caught in possession, and it comes to Taylor. And Glover atoned for his own mistake, but it could have been a costly one, John.
I couldn't believe that. Taylor was looking up. He had a good first touch. His second touch, he lost control. And he should have just knocked an easy ball across the goal, and it would have been 1-0, I think, to Albion.
And there's a good ball at the other end, finding Foyle in a good position, and Albion forced to concede the corner, the first of the game. So we've had end-to-end action here in the opening minutes, and let's hope that's how it'll continue. We've got two real footballing sides here in the purest sense of the word. They both like to get the ball on the ground and play. Corner kick to Port Vale. Paul Kerr will take it. Big Swan, the centre-half, has come forward, and there was a moment's hesitation there before Strodder took charge again for Albion, but it's another corner. Swan and Glover forward for Port Vale. Another problem for Lang. Corner goes deeper this time. And Van der Laan will do well to keep that in. In fact, he's won the throw and sensibly takes it very quickly, looking for Slaven. And some pressure here on the Albion goal in the opening minutes, but now they break clear, and also they've got Bradley, their captain, lying injured just outside his own penalty area from that challenge a moment ago.
Well, at the moment, everybody looks as though they're in a hurry, which always happens at Wembley. You always say, right, in the first 10 minutes in the dressing room, you've got to win your tackles, you've got to be able to get hold of the ball and play it simple when you get it. Now, that's happening here, but for me, you see players just get a little shade of the old nerves, the Wembley nerves come in, and I just hope here we're not watching a Wembley injury. There's always been a bit of a jinx here on players getting injured, but it was a good tackle, honest tackle, and therefore get on with the game, get playing. A little bit of treatment from Danny Thomas there, who had a great career with Coventry and Tottenham. Had to pack in at a young age through an injury, but he's the physio there, and I'm sure he's put things right.
Bradley's a tough character, and he continues after treatment as Hunt just fails to get his boot to the ball, but Albion do have a throw-in. Clearance by Andy Porter. Knocked forward again to Hunt, who's done so well since joining West Brom from Newcastle. Good football by Port Vale in a defensive position, and they've got a free kick for that rather rash challenge. I came to the Autoglass final last week, and I was really impressed with the way Port Vale played, particularly in the first half against Stockport County. Although they were under the cosh a little bit in the second half, it has to be said. Paul Musselwhite, the young goalkeeper in his first season with the club. Strotter gets his boot to it again. Hunt beaten to it. Van der Laan finds Kerr. Stabbed forward then by Swan and just kept in play. Van der Laan is immediately challenged by 3 Albion players. And now Kerr. Under pressure there from Donovan. And did well to make room for himself. This is Swan. The long ball aimed at the exciting Ian Taylor, but that's too strong for him. The wind made sure of that as much as anything else. But here's a young man. I think you looked at him when he was playing non-league at Moor Green, didn't you, John?
Yes, he impressed me. It was very, very close. I was their manager at Coventry at the time. He's a player with a good engine, can get forward, and he had a good goal-scoring record. But I just felt at the time he was a little bit short of what we were looking for. Again, perhaps another mistake I made, Alan.
Didn't make that many, did you?
I made the odd few, yeah, I've got to be truthful.
Good header on there by Hamilton. And Taylor's in there to win it back, and as he did so, Slaven was caught offside.
It's interesting to see the different way they're playing. Port Vale are going mainly with 3 at the back, and West Brom are keeping a flat back 4. So Vale have got Swan normally spare. He's normally spare at the back.
Gary Strotter with the free kick for West Bromwich Albion, looking for Hunt. Aspin is in behind him, but Hunt wins the header. However, that's a goal kick.
I was looking before the match at both sides, and you just got a feeling that if it had been a boxing match, which may be silly to say, you'd look at the Vale side, they look physically strong and more powerful in many ways. But when it comes to playing football, you've got to have the ability to knock the ball about, and I think they have that ability as well.
Port Vale lost only once, incidentally, in their last 10 league games to finish 3rd in the table on 89 points, just 1 point behind Bolton. It was their misfortune that Bolton had such a great spell of form right at the end of the season and eventually overtook them when it had seemed for so long that Vale were going to follow Stoke City in one of the automatic promotion places. Hunt, nice little flick. He's linked so well with Taylor in the short time they've been together, and the partnership has produced so many goals. Strotter finding Bradley the captain. That was a bit optimistic. Nicky Reed never given much hope of reaching that one. But Albion have it back, and Taylor leaves it. Hunt is in the middle in a good position, though it's drilled wide instead to Donovan, but too wide in the end. Aspin for Port Vale. It's a decent ball, but Slaven's header misdirected. And they almost played themselves into danger there, Albion. But in fairness to them, they played themselves out of it again. Reed. Hamilton wanted it short, but he spreads it out to Lilwall. On it goes to Hunt. Miscontrol that under pressure from Aspin. And Porter did well to find Glover, the Vale captain. Oh, that was a mistake there by Raven. He was fortunate that Foyle wasn't in a position to punish him then. Porter. Bernie Slaven. Good football again as Kent plays it further forward. But Lilwall now for Albion, and he just turned once too often on the ball then.
You're looking at Albion at the moment. They're starting to just feel their feet, and they're starting to pass the ball about. There's got to be a lot of movement off the ball, which they are achieving at the moment. They look as though they're a side that once they settle, they could be in business.
Kent gets the ball back from the throw and wins another one from Millwall's challenge. Well, Slaven took a long time making his mind up then, but he was under pressure from behind and has won the throw, which Kevin Kent will take. Taylor comes short for him, and Kent again. Invited to make a decent-looking cross. Foyle just couldn't stretch to reach that, and Milan was alongside him as well. Clever's throw finds Foyle, and there's an offside. Bernie Slaven. The referee's going to have a word about the ball being kicked away there by Slaven.
I think Slaven's sort of telling the referee, I'm nearly strangled there.
Ten minutes gone. Port Vale 0, West Bromwich Albion 0. Good work in the middle there by Kerr. Swan chips it forward to Slaven. And Milan given away. Good play by Raven. Lang gets his foot right through the ball. And Luol went in with his boot high then, although he'll argue that Kent made a dangerous attempt to head it. The referee has said play on anyway.
I think Kent was trying to clean his boots with his head.
Bradley in strong. No stronger than Taylor. On both sides proving here that not only can they play football, they can keep it competitive if need be.
You know, you have a wonderful surface to play on. There's a bit of a swirling wind going on out there and a little bit of rain, which just makes the ball zip across the top of the turf beautifully. Beautiful conditions for football, not summer conditions.
Hamilton under pressure. Bradley's there to help him out. Mickey Reed on the right. Played here once before, of course, for Manchester City. Here's Bradley. It's a good little ball forward and stabbed on towards Hunt in a good position. Reed makes the cross, a bit high I would have thought, but Taylor got ahead to it and heads it to his namesake, Ian Taylor. Foyle wins the throw-in for Port Vale.
You wouldn't be looking as a striker for that type of cross. You prefer something bent in just behind the defence, like the England cross last night for Wright's goal. The high ball is not helpful to strikers. They want to be attacking across the face of their defenders, so just bend stuff in behind the defence.
Well played, Porter. Foyle. That's a good ball on to Kerr. He's got Slaven to his left. Well, he didn't really get any sting behind the shot, Paul Kerr, who scored what proved to be winning goal in the Autograss Trophy here 8 days ago. Donovan beaten to it by Van der Laan, but Mickey Reed keeps it in play for West Brom. And that's a good ball, good run by him. And then it goes to Hunt on the near post and he's won a corner. Good play there by Mickey Reed.
Yes, good overlap. He's breaking well on the right-hand side. There's plenty of room out on the flanks. If you look at Port Vale, they play it very tight in the width of the 18-yard box, so West Brom need to be breaking wide using that width, and you always get goals from crosses. Get the ball out there and get it in early.
And the corner goes in high towards either Strada, who wins it, or Raven. Foyle gets it clear. Van der Laan doing well. And the Dutchman showing nice control on the ball, and almost a perfect ball for Foyle. It breaks out of Hamilton, and there's no offside here. Just as well, the angle on that wasn't too worrying from West Brom's point of view. But as we expected, both sides wanting to get the ball under control and play it on the deck. It's good to see. Hamilton's made a good run into the box here as the cross is aimed towards him. Strother got it away.
Just looking at West Brom there, they were suspect of a quick break. You know, there was plenty of room to be had by the Vale forwards. And you just look at that cross coming in then. Again, it was a good job Strother was there first. There was 2 players queuing up behind.
Aspin for Port Vale. Well, he took a risk there, Lilwall, and it hasn't paid off as yet, and it could get worse as Foyle has a free header and might well have done better. And he knows it.
Yeah, it's a good cross, very good cross. He's picked him out in a crowded area, and I think Foyle just had, he has a good little touch, and then the cross comes in, and Foyle seems to look first to me where he's going to place it. He looks in the far corner and tries to direct it to this corner. Unlucky, just off target.
Scored in the 2-1 home win against West Bromwich Albion in the league in February, Martin Foyle. And Kent, who provided the cross then, wins a good header inside the Albion half. Here's Lilwall, who dived in a little bit on that attempted tackle, which led to that chance for Albion, for Vale rather. Good ball there by Bradley. Nicky Reid free on the right. Hunt making a good run for him, and he wasted that opportunity.
Yes, you don't want to be giving the ball away in those departments. He's broke well, he's got nobody closed him down quickly, he had time to put his foot on the ball and just make sure he kept his side in possession.
15 minutes gone, 0-0, although the number 9 on either side has had the hint of a chance so far in this game. Hunt beaten to it by the much bigger Swan. Glover plays it forward, and Swan knew what he was doing there, and in actual fact the linesman had already flagged for an offside. Free kick to West Bromwich Albion, who lost only once in their last 13 league games. But Taylor's had their only real sniff at goal so far.
We're looking at chances, you know, we look at the Foyle header as the best chance so far.
Taylor getting up well there with Swan, and Hunt's right in behind him. Glover got it away. And Kent beaten to it. And Hamilton went in, but couldn't retain possession as Kent knocks it forward to Foyle. Nice little chest control. Kerr. Back it goes to Foyle. Well played. Ian Taylor. Kent again making the run down the right. And the cross beaten away by Lilwall for a corner.
Kevin Kent, the right back, is quickly supporting this side. He's getting forward very early, and they look very comfortable together, him and Taylor, a good understanding. And West Brom just don't seem to be able to handle this at the moment. Here's where the pressure's coming for them, down this right-hand side of Port Vale.
And it's Kent, the only locally born man in the Vale side, who'll take the corner himself. Taylor almost got ahead to that. It was cleared by Raven, and the shot by Van der Laan was a decent effort through the crowd of players. Slaven's kept it in. And that was a bit of a risky ball. And sure enough, Kevin Donovan got it away.
That was a great strike by Van der Laan there. He really got his position of his body right. He got over the ball, and his technique was excellent. He really got a lot of power behind that, and it would have been on target, providing a defender hadn't got in the way. Good defending, though. Give West Brom credit.
There's Van der Laan again. And he lets it run this time to Porter. Well, he struck that one very well, Porter. I'm not sure that Lang was being super confident, or perhaps misjudging the way that ball dipped. He's got a smile on his face. He wouldn't have done it if it had gone in.
The Port Vale boys seem to think there was a deflection there, and we're appealing for a corner. Here's the strike. Yeah, there was a deflection off his boot, and maybe it should have been a corner. Mind Roger Milford don't make many mistakes. You've got to go along with him.
Good effort from that range by Andy Porter, who's only scored 2 goals all season.
Looking at the match so far, you've got to be with Port Vale here, because their midfield is starting to dominate a little. They're getting more time on the ball, and they're using it. They're constructive and got the ability to beat people.
Paul Kerr, the former Middlesbrough and Millwall player, doing very well in that area, but there's an offside now. Clear offside too. Crowd, the Vale fans thought they were in with an opening then, but Ian Taylor had certainly strayed in behind the last but one defender. 19 goals this season. Ozzy Ardiles and Keith Birkinshaw hoping he doesn't add to that total, obviously, today. As Millwall gets them moving forward with a good challenge. He finds Taylor. Hamilton. Hurled in looking for Hunt, who wins it well. Knocked down to Reed. And Van der Laan just makes the most of that little error there by McNally. We haven't seen too much of him in the game yet.
You know, you get a feeling when West Brom go forward, they've got that little bit of polish about them, and you're just expecting something to be gently developed. You think if they're going to make that chance, it's going to be a good chance and an open chance.
And Raven got an elbow in the face then as he won that header from Foyle, and quite rightly, although Vale will disagree with that because they were in full flow. The referee immediately stopped play. I would like to think that was accidental there as Foyle went up for the ball here. That was another injury.
6 of one there and half a dozen of the other.
That was the injury to Kerr. This is the one to Raven, and yes, well, give him the benefit of the doubt. I think that was an accident, wasn't it?
Yeah, you know, you're there and you're challenging for a ball, and he's kept his eye on the ball there, and to get the height, you need to use your elbows to lift yourself off the ground, and I just think it was an accident. I don't think he deliberately elbowed him in the face there. I'd go with you, Alan, and back you on that one.
More of a
Not
slap
deliberate.
than an elbow as well, really, wasn't it? Anyway, both the injured players, Raven and Kerr, are fit to continue. We've had 20 minutes at Wembley, and we haven't as yet had a goal. They're playing for a place in the first division next season, remember.
It looks as though Kerr possibly got the worst injury of the lot. He's just limping badly at the moment.
Yeah, he doesn't look too comfortable as it's played into the Albion box, and a complete spectacular clearance there by Millwall. Taylor, Aspin, picked up by Hunt. Good ball to Taylor. Now Millwall again. Bradley. Oh, it's nice football. Hamilton. Oh, that's a brilliant ball by Hamilton. It just didn't quite come off in the end because Reed didn't quite have the legs to get onto it, but it was beautifully angled. Unlucky. Ian Taylor. Now Aspin. And again. Knocks it long this time. Headed away by Raven. Millwall under pressure. Bradley back defending. And shook off Foyle cleverly. Keeper can't handle this one, remember.
That surprises me about Port Vale. You've got to put these keepers under pressure in situations like this because they intend to just panic a little and just kick it early. I would have kept going if I'd have been Foyle there.
The long ball to Bob Taylor, and he felt he was nudged in the back there by Neil Aspin. The referee didn't agree. Musselwhite as yet. Sorry, John, I was going to say Musselwhite hasn't had a save to make yet, has he?
No, but what a job Bob Taylor's done for Albion since he's been there. Magnificent buy.
Millwall doing a good sound job for Albion on this side too, and here is Bob Taylor. McNally brushed aside. Doesn't seem to have quite got into the pace of the game yet, Bernard McNally. Here's Slaven. Great run made by Kerr in the inside left position. Slaven had to hold it up. Support now from Van der Laan. Flipped in towards Foyle in the box. And Albion break clear with McNally. Now Reed. Dangerous ball. Taylor intercepts, but Millwall wins it back off Kent. Taylor. Hunt is ahead of him. That's a foul by Swan. Free kick to West Brom. Just a bit too quick for him there. He turned. I don't think there was any great intent, but he knew he'd gone away from him for pace.
It's a big, strong lad, Swanee. But you see West Brom there, they're playing dangerous balls, crossfield balls. If they get cut out, put the midfield completely out of the game. They've got to be aware of that and look to build off the front.
The free kick is a dangerous one and headed away by Glover. Now Van der Laan. Raven to Bradley. Oh, that's the foul. No doubt about it. A sliding tackle from behind, and I think that might be a little bit of a leftover, as they say, from an earlier challenge, and it's going to mean a booking.
Yes, I think Paul Kerr deserves to be booked there. He just had a feeling that he did take a whack earlier on, and that was a little grudge one. Here's my chance, get hold of this, and he left his calling card there, and rightly so. The referee has taken his name. It's a yellow card job, and now he's got to be very, very careful. It's a little bit silly, really, because he's dominated the game in midfield. He's looked the part. He's played the ball simply and played it well, shown skill when needed to. No need for that.
Here's Bob Taylor. Glover right behind him. McNally. Bradley, the captain. And he got that wrong.
And then I'm getting the feeling here that Port Vale are well organised at the back. They're not going to be broken down very easily. They look a little better organised at the back four than possibly West Brom.
Musselwhite really is in trouble here as Hunt plays it forward again. There's a chance now, and it's all down to the goalkeeper, but it's missed in the end by Donovan. Now that was all down to poor Musselwhite. He came a long way out of his goal, took a risk, and really sliced the ball straight back to West Bromwich Albion.
I'd like to thank him very much, because I was just saying how well they look at the back. They look organised, the back four, and there he is. He comes out here, and it's a chance that goes begging wide, really. You've got to hit the target in those positions. Here it is again. It's a little slip through. He's looked up, and there's the touch. He's just, the first touch isn't bad. Just secondly, he tried to lift it over him, over the bar, and missing the target.
Well, Donovan, who's scored 11 goals from midfield this season, won't get many better chances than that in the game, I'm sure. And poor Musselwhite in the Vale goal is a very, very relieved man, because that whole situation, I'm afraid, was down to him.
Yes, he wouldn't be happy with that mistake. You know, you're trying to keep all cool, and then this is typical of goalkeepers. They love playing 8 in 5-a-sides and doing the business. Comes to the match, they just... Does the bottle go a little bit? I would doubt it.
Not too happy his manager, I'll bet. Free kick, meanwhile, Port Vale have won. This will be a dangerous position for West Brom to defend. Rubber will swing it in left-footed. Swan and Foyle are both up there. It's Foyle on the far post, who wins it well, but directs it wide.
That was shades of the old Watford free kick, where 4 players get together, and they'll have 4 players there with one peeling off round the back, one attacking the near post. Here's the ball in. It's a quality ball in with his left foot, and Foyle couldn't quite get the power in the direction he would have liked. You know, you work ages on the training ground, spending time on set pieces, and you do like to see the service going in where you've worked it being played.
Vandelon for Port Vale, knocking it forward for Slaven. Challenged by Reed, and then in the end by Strotter. Slaven was hauling back Darren Bradley then. The expression would suggest he doesn't agree, but I'm sure he was.
They never do, Alan.
Offside, Andy Hunt.
You know, the ball does fly here. It seems to be quicker here when you pass the ball than anywhere else in the country you play. Whether it's because of the stadium and the way the wind's kept out of it, but the ball seems to fly further here and goes... You try a little weighted pass, and it will always go a lot further than you expect.
Albion's massive support. Wait and wonder if this is to be the day when they win promotion. The last time they did that was 17 years ago, when they went up to the old First Division, where they stayed for 10 years. And then, of course, they dropped down to the old Third Division a couple of years ago. Finished 7th there last season, the worst season in the club's history in terms of league position. Millwall is so bright to spot interception chances like that. And he's still going forward now, and he'll keep Aspin driving on all the way here. Meantime, offside in the Albion half. It's their free kick.
Liverpool was very quick spotting that. He was on his toes, you could see him, he was sharp and alert to what was going on in front of him, was quick to pounce on it and quick to make the break. It's just that the ball played back to him was a little overweighted.
Paul Raven in possession for West Bromwich Albion. Looking for Hunt in the penalty area. Breaks now to Hamilton. And on to Bradley. Raven joins the attack again. Hunt beaten to it by Swan. Good pressure though from West Bromwich Albion. 21 players inside the Vale half at the moment. But Bradley has overhit that one, and it's a goal kick.
That is the type of ball I was describing. You just think you can play a little ball over the back, but it will hit the green turf and just fly. But both sides at the moment are doing a lot of running. There's up and back, it's end-to-end stuff, and you just feel that maybe in the second half legs will start to go a little bit and then mistakes could be made.
Yes, I came to see the third division playoff yesterday here, and it was very similar. Nally's foul, and the referee won't be too pleased with that, and I think he might be the second player to be shown the yellow card.
Yeah, and again, you know, we know the rules. You can't tackle from behind, and there it happens again. Just keep your head, go there, keep it tight. No need for that at all. Going nowhere. Just use your head, jockey, hold them up. But there in my day, I suppose I used to be a bit like that as well. It's the occasion maybe that gets to them. And just the old whistle blows and in you go.
Van der Laan, the player on the receiving end. I was mentioning York against Crewe yesterday. Splendid match here, and as John was suggesting, it was very tight in the first half yesterday and then really opened up in the second when the players got tired, and even more so in extra time. It's an inevitable conclusion to matches here, especially ones which have such big prizes at the end. A lot of pressure and tension. Nobody wants to make mistakes early on here. Nobody wants to make mistakes at all.
Good refereeing by Roger Milford there. Saw Swanee backing in, and he was spot on with his decision. It's lovely to have a referee like Roger. You can have a chat with him, a joke with him, and at the same time, he's on top of his job and he don't give you an inch.
Millwall not being given an inch of room there by Kent. Has to get it back to Strodder, the old West Ham player, who finds Bob Taylor. Forward by Hamilton, a neat ball, and Strodder goes striding on into the Vale half. Good ball by McNally. And the other centre-half, Raven, comes into the attack. Late challenge on him, but the referee says play on because Reid has the ball for Albion. No advantage is accrued from it yet, but might still. Now it goes in high towards Hunt. Swan just got the flick to clear the danger.
I just can't see these high balls really helping Albion. You know, they need to play it on the ground to feet and just be patient in their play and movement off the ball, knock the ball around.
As they're doing now. Hamilton. Looking for Hunt, who slipped at the vital moment. I mentioned the partnership between him and Bob Taylor. They got 19 goals in their first 10 matches together, those two, when Andy Hunt came on deadline day from Newcastle United. Tremendous kick there by Musselwhite, but it might go out of play. Wasn't allowed to by Slaven. Reid's clearance, an excellent ball. Hunt with a lovely flick on too to Donovan, who's crashed down from behind. But again, Mr. Milford says play on, and once again, ironically, there was no advantage, but there might well have been in the most bizarre fashion. Yes, you better have a look at your studs. Poor Musselwhite could have produced there the freakest goal ever at Wembley.
Yes, the ball played here, and he comes out and then he gets on his heels. He seems to stop on his heels, there he goes, and slips up and looks. Reminds me of Steve Ogrizovic and Trevor Peake.
Kent at the other end, beaten to it by Lilwall. Kerr, good ball for Slaven. He's offside though.
But there's one thing sure, if that little fella Slaven there gets a chance, I promise you now, it will be sniffed. He is a great finisher. I've got a lot of admiration for him. He works hard, he chases lost causes at times for you, but when he gets that chance, my God, he's usually on target. Lethal.
Ironically, could have gone to West Bromwich Albion as well when Middlesbrough released him earlier in the season, but chose Port Vale. I wonder if that decision will pay off at the end of the day here. Kent under pressure here from Millwall, who's a terrier, doesn't let anybody settle on the ball. And the free kick has gone West Brom's way there. Foul by Slaven, who's getting increasingly frustrated with some of the decisions, and he doesn't want to let that get on top of him and lose his concentration. Reed. Back to Raven. Port Vale defending very well, extremely well organised when they're under pressure.
They're very terrier-like, Port Vale. They get close, they get their tackles in. Very workmanlike side. Impressive. They don't give you time to play.
As Hunt found to his cost then, but Donovan has the ball from the throw-in, which resulted, and it was just a bit too deep there. Proved that they too can be terrier-like when the opposition have the ball. But Vale have possession. Good challenge by McNally. Bradley. A bit over-ambitious, that one, from the captain.
Yeah, she would have liked to have seen him just play a little square ball and shorten your game and get the build-up going. That's what Bromwich need at the moment. Just to shorten their game, get the passing going and get the movement off the ball so that the defence can get round and support the midfield and the attack.
Here's Slaven. Well, he got that all wrong, and had he got it right, then Foyle was in an excellent position. 10 minutes to half-time, 0-0. Play forward to Kent. Strother with a good tackle. Also felt he should have had the throw in there. He did. He would.
Strother's done well. He's been in the heart of things there, and he's come into a side that's been playing well. You felt that the speed may be a problem for him, but he seems to be handling that well at the moment.
Marking's tight on the throw-in, and in fact, don't see that very often. Kent threw it clean out of play, goal kick.
That worries you on the line. You say, come on, boys, for God's sake, don't give it away there. Just be patient, play it to his feet, and get the ball back, and we're in business.
Turned forward by McNally for Taylor. Hunt. Good challenge in the end by Glover, who made the initial error, didn't control the ball properly, which is why Hunt was able to have a strike on target then.
No, you wouldn't be happy with Glover there. You'd say, just get the ball away. Don't try and bring it down in your box. Just get it away. Row C if need be, but get it away from that danger area.
West Brom's first corner, and a good one, and Musselwhite took charge then.
Musselwhite was very positive there. He left his line, he made up his mind, took it at the highest point. Good goalkeeping there. Makes up for that mistake he made earlier.
Vanderlaan for Port Vale. Fortunate to get that back. Aspin. Kent. Sets it up for Vanderlaan, who can hit the ball if he gets an opening. But none presents itself. Here's Kerr now for Vale. Committed a lot of players forward here, Port Vale. And it came to nothing.
Nicky Reed done exceptionally well there when Vanderlaan had a chance. He just closed his right foot. He stood on his right foot and said, well, go on, if you're going to have your shot, you've got to take it on your weak foot, your left foot. That's good thinking, that's good play. Put them on their weakness and they have a problem.
It's been a tight match, this. There's not been much to choose between the sides, and therefore no surprise that we've had no goals yet, and not too many goal-scoring chances either. Millwall gives it away to Taylor. Now Kerr looking for Foyle over his head though. Play it on the ground, screams Bernie Slaven to him.
Yeah, you know, you can't be looking for through balls from there. You're looking to keep the ball. It's hard work at Wembley. You've got a lot of running to do. It's a big area to cover. The one thing that never gets tired is that ball. So keep it and keep passing it to one another, and chances will be created that way. To look for that long penetrating pass doesn't come off very often.
Good advice from a manager who, of course, knows what formula is needed to win here. 6 years ago now, wasn't it, John? Does it seem that long, or does it seem longer?
No, it seemed like yesterday when we walked down the tunnel there today. Wonderful.
Coventry City's greatest ever day, of course. Who could ever forget it? Here's McNally. Hunt. Donovan. Did well. Reed. Good-looking ball in towards Taylor, but the other Taylor, Ian, got it clear. Now Van der Laan for Port Vale. That's a good ball. Slaven, 3 players around him, and he skips between all of them. And finds Foyle with a lovely ball. Good challenge, but still they have possession here. Not any longer, they don't. That was a bit wasteful from Van der Laan.
I think they're just trying to take the sting out of the game for a moment at the back by West Brom. They're just saying, well, let's keep possession, let's just take the sting out of it and just knock the ball about and get a feel of it again and work up, so that we're working up to build the pace up later in the match.
Good little flick on there by Slaven, but Kerr unable to control it. Now Aaron Bradley for West Brom. Reed's galloping forward down that right-hand side at every opportunity. It's a good run too, and he drives it through, but it's a goal kick. Nicky Reed, I suppose, wouldn't have been playing today because, of course, Mickey Mellon, who was sent off in the semi-finals of the playoffs, suspended today, and therefore not available for selection. So McNally's gone into midfield, and Reed has come in at right back. He was involved in 3 playoffs in his days at Blackburn Rovers, would you believe, Nicky Reed, and lost all 3.
Is that what they call him, Jinxie Reed? I hope it won't be for him today. I don't mean that against Port Vale, but I just think any man that's been here 3 times and lost all 3 deserves a bit of luck sometime.
Kent's header, and a lovely little flick from Foyle to Slaven. That was not a bad effort.
You know, we're getting near half-time now, and both managers will be thinking, here's the chance coming in here. I said he'd keep it on target, didn't I? Proved me right again. Just sliced it wide. But at the same time, it was a good strike. Just got to hit the target there. But you'd be thinking, as manager, you'd be saying, there, what am I going to say to my players at half-time? I'd be looking, if I was West Brom, if I was Aussie, I'd be trying to say, right, Nicky Reed's the man today who could get forward, and it's caused problems. Every time he's gone forward, he's looked a threat and a danger. If I was Rudgy, I'd be wanting my front men just to hold it up a little and say, right, come on, wait for the midfield to get range. You give them time to support and just hold it up and be patient.
A long ball forward is a brilliant one for Foyle. Raven across to cover, and that's a corner. We've only got 3 minutes of the first half remaining. The sun coming out for the first time today at Wembley. And we hear the Port Vale fans really getting behind their side now. It's not a bad-looking corner either, and Raven just got his head to it. It's a good ball forward, that was, and how embarrassing for poor Kevin Donovan. Spin, and then Donovan tried to take it off him and almost made up for his earlier embarrassment.
Peter Swan looks a powerful defender, you know, he's got good legs, good in the air, attacks the ball. He's one of those, you say, when you get out on the pitch, you look at him and think, God, am I going to have an easy game against you today? I wouldn't think so.
Bradley for West Brom. Good ball, Hamilton. Well played. Strotter. Just gave Aspin the chance to get in ahead of Andy Hunt.
The last 10 minutes, Bradley's looked as though he's going to really come out second half and do the business for me. He's knocking good balls about. He looks composed now, and he looks as though he's settled into the job, and he's ready now to produce the goods.
Well, I never expected there to be much between these two sides before the game, and so it has proved here in the first half. A very close contest this, with just about a minute and a half remaining to the interval. 0-0. Swan gets in ahead of Taylor, and then the other Taylor, Ian, finds Kerr. Van der Laan making a run forward, but being blocked by McNally. Slaven, that's a glorious layoff. Lovely ball. The long ball back towards Slaven, and it breaks here to Porter, and he almost had too much time. And Slaven and Boyle couldn't reach the loose ball, and West Brom break clear. Strange moment that was. Reed again powering forward on the right and gets it. And then he goes towards Donovan. Well, it was a very spectacular effort by Kevin Donovan, but wide.
Well, at one end, it looked as though the world stood still. I couldn't believe Porter. It looked as though he'd just grown roots at one end, and then you get to the other end where you get a great cross in, and it's a very good effort by Donovan. It's a good cross there, and it comes, and he gets it on the volley. Very spectacular effort.
If that had have flown in, eh, that would have been some goal. Here's Bob Taylor, doing well, really strong in the challenge then, Taylor. Just a bit sloppy with the ball, though, to Hunt, although that's underplaying the part that Swan had in it, in reading it. Just have to concede the throw.
I felt Hunt could have helped him more there. He didn't really show himself. You've got to show your partner where you're going to be, and he just sat in a little bit and was a little bit really out of reach.
We're into stoppage time here as it comes in towards Hamilton, who couldn't quite get up high enough to make the header. And Kent breaks clear for Port Vale. Aspin. Kerr. This is Porter. Van der Laan. Good run forward by Slaven, who's drifted out to the left wing and gets possession now. Porter again. Kerr. Aspin. Took it too far, showed it to the defender, and Bradley took it off him. Now he's got to race back as well. McNally under pressure here, and Reed so often the outlet for Albion players when they are under pressure. And this is typical West Brom football, and knocking it about sweetly and calmly, the way Ozzy Ardiles preaches on the training ground every day. Then Strotter varies it with a long ball forward for Hunt, who did well and has got round Glover. And Reed's there again. What an outstanding match he's having. In it goes to Donovan, who flicked it on, and just a little bit more on that, and Musselwhite might have been in trouble. And that, in fact, brings to an end the first half here at Wembley Stadium. The score, Port Vale 0, West Bromwich Albion 0. We'll have more views and our review of the first half action when you rejoin us right after this break.
It's half-time at Wembley in the second division playoff. No goals at half-time between West Bromwich Albion and Port Vale. Jimmy Greaves,
Yes,
frantic start, as you'd expect. Settled down, but I don't know, it's something's lacking apart from a goal.
I think what's lacking is someone's ability to put their foot on the ball and have a look around. They've got more time out there than they realise, and I think because they're playing so frenetically that things are not going for them. Vale are the better side, there's no question
Few chances.
about that. There's not been many chances. This was one of them, and as I say, I think Port Vale over the first half have played the better football, and this is a good cross whipped in here by Kerr. And I don't know, maybe Foyle, who to me has looked the most dangerous forward on the field, could have done better with that, we have to say that. But nevertheless, that was one of the chances that Port Vale had. And yet, the Baggies have had the better chances, and they have. I mean, here they should have scored. There's no question about this. Donovan gets through, and really he's got a one-on-one situation with the goalkeeper. He really does only have to put it either side of him or lift it over him. Lift it over him he does, but he lifts it wide. And that really was a painful miss. And had that goal been converted, you would have said, well, maybe that West Bromwich Albion would have settled down a bit more than they have. Somebody has got to score a goal, and whoever scores a goal, I think it's going to calm it all down and make it easier for them.
Because you said earlier, didn't you, that you think one goal could well do this?
We did say it would be very close, Bob. I'm beginning to think one goal will do it now. Yes, definitely.
And hopefully not into extra time and penalties and things.
I hope not. No, let's keep it to 90 minutes, lads. Yeah. That would be nice, wouldn't it, Bob?
Well, they went to extra time. They went to penalties yesterday, and sadly, Crewe will be playing in the 3rd Division next season because it's time for the second half of Port Vale and West Brom at Wembley. I'm just ahead on the trivia questions.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
Oh.
You said Ronnie Allen. It was Frank Griffin.
That's what
We've just had a phone
wrong,
call.
did we?
We just had a phone call, and it was like what I said.
Yes.
I told you it was Frank Griffin.
Jim, just before we go back to Wembley, Kevin Donovan had a good effort near the end. It looked a long way off, but when we saw it again, maybe it was a bit closer than we thought.
It was a good effort, and one wonders, had he put this effort into his first one, that he would have scored. Often the way when a player hasn't got time to think, he can do things a little bit better, and this was, and it was rather close, and he could have made a name for himself there. It was a good. Well, it was good, and it was close.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen to this game, Bob. It's worrying me a bit.
They're two good sides, aren't they? They both play football. They've both played it on the floor a lot. They've played well. Are they almost cancelling each other out?
Not really. I think, as I said before, it needs. Sorry about that. But it needs one or two players in one of the other sides to say, right, we're going to knock it about. There's a lot of space out here. The players can be found with the ball, and we've got a lot of time. And I think if somebody does that, they will take command of the situation.
Yeah.
I really do. I do feel that...
I've just a word in my ear says we've got an interview lined up, and I think Phil Mepham is with West Brom's assistant manager, Keith Birkinshaw. Phil?
Keith, are you happy with 0-0 at half-time?
Well, yes, reasonably happy. I think both sides have started off a little bit nervously in that first half, not played the football that they can. Hopefully we can get it together a little bit better in the second period.
So what have you said at half-time?
Well, we've got to pass and control the ball, movement, all the things that we've emphasised all season.
Thank you, Keith.
Thank you.
The views of Keith Birkinshaw, the assistant manager to Ossie Ardiles, the old Tottenham combination which did so well in their days together at White Hart Lane. West Bromwich Albion's crowd this season, they average at the Hawthorns 15,000, their highest for 10 years, and they've sold over 40,000 tickets here today, but that never means a jot once the ball is rolling and the whistle has been blown. And for all the superiority in terms of numbers that Albion have on the terraces and in the stands, it hasn't really been reflected in the match, because Port Vale have certainly given as good as they've taken so far. And this is going to be a very, very close contest, we're sure of that. 0-0 at half-time. And the Vale fans have done their bit in making sure this has been a marvellous atmosphere today. Kerr with a good challenge in midfield. The referee apparently didn't see it that way, because he's given West Brom the free kick. Port Vale, rather, the other way around. They'll push 4 forward here, Port Vale, into a little group on the edge of the penalty area. They'll all spin away when the kick finally comes in, which it did, and Swan is the one who wins the header, and that wasn't too far wide. A well-practiced, well-rehearsed free-kick routine.
All set pieces are geared to the service in, and this is excellent service in. There's Swanee just getting it over the top. He's gone in, he's let his defender in, but he just needs to keep his header on target. Well-rehearsed, as you said, and a good effort.
Pretty unusual for West Bromwich Albion to find themselves with a 0-0 half-time scoreline, by the way. Only Newcastle United score more goals than them in the season just finished in the whole of the Football League. West Brom got 88 goals in their 46 league games and conceded over 50. So I don't think we can expect it to remain at 0-0 somehow. Here's Bradley for West Bromwich Albion, and that's a glorious ball. McNally. Glover's clearance means Albion have the throw. Good work by Donovan. And a dangerous cross, Bob Taylor on the far post. And was that handball by Aspin? Taylor was claiming it was, and so were about 40,000 supporters. But the referee has said play on. I think the initial suspicion there was perhaps that Taylor might have been offside. Anyway, we might be able to come back to that. But the action continues with McNally for West Brom. He's done well here. He's done really well, but so too has Kerr in tracking back and intercepting. A lively start to the second half. But Aspin's ball goes out of play. Throw in.
Yes, that was a lively start. I just had my doubts about that. I just thought perhaps that was a handball. Here it comes again. We look at it. There it is, the hands up in the air, definitely. And Taylor's no hesitation in appealing for it.
And there was certainly no question of an offside, if that's what Vale initially felt. Glover with a long ball looking for Foyle. And now there is an offside at the other end. Martin Foyle.
I've got to agree with Greavesy for once here. You'd love to see this game finish in 90 minutes with one side, the better side, if possible, on the day, winning the match outright. To go to extra time or to go to penalties, I wouldn't like to see that. Let's see it finished. Let's see it won by the better side on the day.
Good football now by West Brom. Hunt felt he was brought down, the referee didn't. Paul Raven will leave it to his captain, Darren Bradley. Hits it long again, looking for Hunt. Aspin is there to head it clear, though. Turned on by Kent. Foyle beaten to it by Strodder. Good ball by Porter to Van der Laan. Neat football again from Port Vale. Both sides have played such admirable quality football today. Glover down the line for Slaven. Reid right behind him, but he finds a way out with Van der Laan, and then Reid fouled Bernie Slaven as the ball was played away. Spotted by Mr. Milford.
Good refereeing again, Alan. He was spot on there, Roger. But that looked Port Vale's best move. They started to knock the ball crisply. It just got to Van der Laan. I thought he should have turned. He had a quarter turn, and he just failed to hear it. Or perhaps he don't understand English too well.
Dean Glover, the Vale captain, will take this free kick and lifts it high, but Lang was fouled certainly by Taylor then as he went to collect the high ball. Free kick to West Brom.
Always used to have words with my goalkeepers. You know, when you come into the ruck like he does here, it's always very dodgy to go up and just keep your hands up and hope to catch it. You're coming down over heads and bodies, and they're...
Yes, I can understand why you suddenly stopped there, John. It looked as though we were going to have another remarkable incident as Kerr tried to get Lang out of position. Please continue.
Yeah, but I always said, come on, keepers, you come there and punch. Get the ball away and you'll be happy. It'll clear the lines and we'll all understand what's going to happen. But when you try and catch, sometimes you can be knocked and the ball will just go out of your hands and a silly goal's given away.
Taylor. And he did well to win it there off Porter and slides it through to Donovan, who's onside. He holds his head in anguish, knowing that for the second time in this game, he has missed a golden opportunity. Although let's give credit to poor Musselwhite for closing the space down quickly. But really, Donovan knows better than anyone in this ground that should have been the first goal. Slaven, meantime, for Port Vale, gets forward well and is then dispossessed by Nicky Reid. But you have to feel that Albion should be ahead at this stage.
Yes, that was a wonderful chance. I had a hint of offside there when I saw it coming up. Here he goes into it now, and I just felt he was offside possibly, but he's there, he's in, Elijah's let him go. It's just a weak finish. Greavesy wouldn't have missed that.
I was thinking exactly the same thing, mind you. Greaves is better than quite a few in his day and since.
The best.
Albion pick up the pace again. Bradley. Donovan beaten to it this time by Aspin. We've just been given the official attendance, incidentally, at Wembley. 53,471. A marvellous crowd and a marvellous atmosphere as the goalkeeper again miskicks his attempted clearance. Well, he's twice got away with it, Musselwhite. I don't know if he'll be lucky on the third time if there is one. You better be careful on that one. Here's Bernie Slaven. The game's really opened up at the start of the second half here. Van der Laan now. It's always a good football match. Now we've got a bit of excitement and goal-mouth action as well. Kent for Port Vale. Taylor out on the right. In it goes first time, but too deep, was it? Well, it gave a problem anyway to Tony Lang, who decided that discretion was a lot better than valour. Corner.
Now, Ian Taylor should have done better here. He should bend a little ball, just dink it in behind the defence. He's gone for the long back post ball. Bad service in. Your forwards are all waiting for it to be pulled back, and he's gone in to just where the keeper would say, thank you very much, over the bar you go.
Corner kick to Port Vale. Taylor getting up well, and the header directed wide. 19 goals in Taylor, including the winner on the size met at the Hawthorns in October. Top scorer in his first season in league football. What a remarkable achievement.
I'm a man who likes a bit of a flutter, I think, as most people know. At the moment, I wouldn't know who to put my money on. It's a cracking game to watch. It's end-to-end, and both sides have got the ability to break down defences. It's just who's going to do it. As Breezy said at half-time, whoever gets the goal you seem to think will win the match. I wouldn't like to say that. I would say whoever gets the goal may just stir the others into a bit more action. There's Ozzy having a chew of the old gum or a nut. Worrying look, isn't it? These poor managers get on their face.
McNally for West Bromwich Albion. That's a dangerous ball, but the offside flag has gone up. They've got to come back for a free kick.
You know, we were seeing the England match last night, and the quality of service here today on set pieces has been excellent. You know, the ball's being delivered from set pieces has been spot on and good weight to them, whereas I was disappointed last night in England's servicing. We can all learn, unless the ball is crossed into the right area with the right pace on it, nothing will happen. I had a player once at Hereford who I dealt with, Terry Payne, who was an artist at that. He could deliver a ball on a talent.
Taylor. A little header down by Kent. Aspin plays it on. It's a difficult one for Strodder, and he did the right thing. What a good sound game he's had as replacement for the injured Burgess. Taylor again for Port Vale. The ball was a little bit tight there on that far touchline, but Vale do have another throw. Millwall's tackle. Darren Bradley contemptuously wins it back and finds Hunt with a splendid ball. But Vale close Albion players down quickly again. Not much room out there at the moment. See, what a strange hit in, and that was like a pinball for a moment there. No let up rather in the pace. Donovan dispossessed by Van der Laan, but determined enough to win it back and get fouled by the Dutchman. No problem.
He doesn't really look like a continental in his approach to it. He can tackle, he gets his foot in, but he's also got the skill whereby he kills the ball stone dead with his first touch.
Bradley. Reed. And you could tell straight away that Hamilton was under pressure there, but he's breathing a sigh of relief now because he's got the free kick out of it.
A bit harsh there, I felt.
Yeah,
you know, there was just a player losing his footing on the turf.
Good layoff from Hunt. Back to Hamilton again. Now Bradley. Lilwall has got forward left edge of the area, and he's the target here. It's a good run because it's produced a corner. Kevin Kent had to head it behind. Excellent run by Lilwall.
Yeah, made a good run round the back there, got room for himself and space. It's just that the ball in was a quality ball. It was just that I think it's Kevin Kent got back there and just stopped it.
Yes, it was Kent. And he's got some more defending to do now. As big Raven and Strada both come forward. Referee's got to go and intervene here because neither of the Port Vale players have retreated 10 yards. There's a little mark on the pitch now to indicate where 10 yards is from the corner flag. You see the little white mark where Mr. Milford is. They still went 10 yards away when it came in, and it's a tremendous header by Raven, and Musselwhite was in the right place at the right time then.
Raven really powers in on this. If you watch his run, he's a determined run from the edge of the box, and there it is. But Musselwhite in the position to just take it cleanly and coolly. Musselwhite's done nothing wrong except when the ball's been at his feet, Alan. When it's been at his feet, he's just been inclined to panic and make the odd mistake.
Vale going forward themselves now, and a good ball play towards Slave, and Nicky Reid with a good clearing header. And here's Raven defending. Good football by West Brom. Taylor. Natural stay in play. Nicky Reid hooks it in first time towards Hunt, who was grappling with Aspin to try and get an advantage then, and in doing so lost his momentum for the header.
What a great running cross from Nicky Reid. He's going away from goal and he's got wrapped his foot round it, really worked at it and got it right over the back post. Excellent play.
But here's Foyle at the other end for Port Vale. This match has really opened up now. Foyle goes down, but no free kick. Nicky Reid, who was involved in that earlier attack at the age of 32, is a wonderful credit to his profession, the way he's gone up and down that right flank for Albion today, ceaselessly and tirelessly. Good play by McNally, but then not a good ball. Swan. Well, the prize is enormous here, and as you'd expect, both sides have given it their all and have produced a splendid football match already.
Yeah, we hear that word commitment thrown around a lot now, but I assure you, both these sides have committed themselves to one thing, that's winning this match.
Slaven, Porter, loses out. Hamilton knocks it forward. That's a great first-time ball for Taylor. Bob Taylor. The free kick has been given, for sure, and it'll be interesting to see what further action the referee takes against Peter Swan here. If he decides that Taylor was in a position where he could have gone on and scored a goal, then Peter Swan could be in big trouble with the referee here. No one wants to see a dismissal, least of all at Wembley, but his heart will be in his mouth now.
Oh, you've got your doubts, haven't you, there? Big Swanee, he's just been caught. Taylor's peeled away from him and he's lost Taylor. He's got behind him. It's a quality ball in and it's a desperate lunge at the end. I would go, stay on the pitch. No.
He's off.
He's off.
And Peter Swan, sadly, has the long walk back down the Wembley tunnel. One of very few players in the history of the game to be dismissed at the world's most famous stadium. And I think the moment he brought down Taylor, he must have almost realised what his fate was to be. The laws are quite clear on that, and I think there are few referees more forgiving than Roger Milford, but I think the law trapped Roger Milford into the decision. He had to take it.
Yeah, you just look at it there, and the all started with all came with such a brilliant turn from Taylor where he lost one, and here it goes in. It's a desperate lunge. Did he try and play the ball? Is it that bad? The referee's in a better position than I. But I would have said Swanee's tried. No, it's fair enough. Good decision. Having seen it from that angle, good decision. He was clear, he was going for it. Mistake made.
Vale are down to 10 men crucially here. But Donovan has totally wasted the free kick. However, the big question now is how Port Vale are going to reorganise. They play a system basically where they have 3 centre-backs and 2 full-backs that push forward a lot down the flanks. Now they've got to change things around. They've lost a centre-back and a crucial player at that in Peter Swan, and they're going to have to rejig things around.
Well, I'd be inclined now to go with 3 at the back. You've got to go man for man. and say, right, they're going to keep a spare man at the back, but I'd go with 3 at the back and push the men forward. You've got to take a chance now.
You could tell the players themselves weren't sure what was happening there as they gesticulated to the bench. And John Rudge. Now, can Albion take advantage of their numerical superiority here? Hamilton have got a lot of players forward, certainly, here, and they've got a corner.
We had one man on the park who didn't want to have to make a decision, plus myself, would be Roger today. He didn't want that to happen. But having seen it from the side, you just get a feeling that Swanee was a shade unfortunate, but he had to walk.
Now, Glover's gone down injured here, and I don't want to be mischievous. I just wonder whether this is a diplomatic injury, because the physio will come on and no doubt issue the orders from John Rudge and his assistant manager, Bobby Downs, about exactly how they should change things round.
Alan, I can see Peter Billing stripping off as a central defender, so there may be a change going on. They may be bringing on another central defender.
Yes, that's a good spot, and John Rudge has maybe decided he's going to have to lose a player from another position in order to retain his defensive formation. Peter Billing, who only signed full-time for the club yesterday, he's been on loan from Coventry City, is about to come on. But meantime, the corner is driven in, and Raven touched it away. Bradley plays it straight back in again. Goal kick. Now they'll be able to bring Billing on. And who's going to go off? It looks like Kent, I think. Kevin Kent, the number 3, being held up. That's no reflection, of course, on his performance today. In fact, he's played well. It's merely a reflection of the need for a tactical change.
Yes, that's all it is. You know, Kevin Kent has done his job well. It's just the tactical change, as you say. Billing, a central defender, will come in, and a good player on the ball, strong player, just inclined at times to lose his temper a little bit and go for things, and go for players when he should keep his cool, because he has a wonderful ability to pass the ball.
I think you signed him for Coventry from Crewe, didn't you?
Yes, yeah. Not a bad buy for once.
This is a critical period now for Port Vale, this next 10 minutes or so, when Albion are bound to throw everything at them. Van der Laag, Slaven's layoff, Kerr. They're going to have to work twice as hard now, these Vale players. And they've been caught offside, both Slaven and Foyle.
I assure you, after watching them play up to now, they've got that character in the side where they won't go down easy, Port Vale. They'll fight to the last drop of blood in their bodies. They have got that in the side, you can see that.
Raven to Taylor. Raven again. Looking for Hunt this time. Billing gets his first touch of the ball, headed away to Van der Laag. Now Nicky Reid. Obstruction by Van der Laag, indirect free kick to West Brom. Incidentally, one other reflection on that sending off incident. I think Bob Taylor is as honest a player as you will find, and I don't think there's any hint whatsoever that he went down in that tackle, other than because he simply had to, because of the way he was brought down.
Completely blameless, Bob Taylor.
McNally swings the kick in, and it's a dangerous one, and Van der Laag was lucky it dropped to his feet then. Raven still forward, and that's a dangerous little half-half ball, but Bradley just gets there. Now Lilwall. 20 minutes gone in the second half. Port Vale 0, West Bromwich Albion 0, but Port Vale reduced to 10 men by the sending off of their central defender, Peter Swan, for what they call a professional foul. Here's Bob Taylor, the man who was fouled. Now Hunt, driven in dangerously again. Billing hooked it away for a corner.
Very difficult ball to deal with that for Peter Billing. He's just come on the park, and there's a ball slung in right at the near post, and he's got to watch it onto his foot, and he played the safety game. Get away behind for a corner.
Taken quickly by Albion. And it's off the post and off the line from Strotter's header. Taylor. Chipped in again by Reid. And it's in this time, yes! It's Andy Hunt. Minutes gone in the second half. front.
You cannot believe that header's not got in. The first header from Strada. It was a good touch here. Just moves it to the side, clips it in, and there's the header directed into the only place the poor keeper got no chance of getting that. But it's a great header. Two great headers, really. Strada was so unlucky that the ball hit the post.
Andy Taylor's 11th goal of the season for West Bromwich Albion is their most crucial of the whole season. It's their 89th in this long campaign, if you include this as a league fixture, which of course, strictly speaking, it is. And after 9 long months of toiling for promotion, it's nudged them a significant step closer to their target. Port Vale 0, West Bromwich Albion 1. Andy Hunt the scorer. Here's Foyle for West Brom. Strada takes it off him, and Strada, of course, playing such an important part in the build-up to Hunt's goal with that splendid header which rattled against the post. That's 11 in 14 games now for Hunt since he signed from Newcastle United. What an inspired signing he's proved to be. Albion win another important challenge in midfield, but there's no way, I'll tell you this, that Vale will lie down and die here. It is not in their character, it's not in the nature of the team or the manager. Ozzy Ardiles looking thoughtful, and he knows that Vale will push them right to the wire here. But I was saying it was an important 10 minutes for Vale to survive just after they'd had a player sent off, and they didn't survive it. They conceded a goal. It's going to be doubly hard for them now. Well played, Billing. Glover. Headed away by Raven, who was fouled by Porter.
Now, it's important that West Brom just keep their cool, keep the ball moving, don't be silly there, because they've got that all-important goal. But there, for Vale, I would say, come on, keep battling away. You never know in this game. You're down to 10 men, but I've seen 10 men come back many a times and get the result that they've been looking for. Game's not over by a long chalk. A long way to go yet in this match.
Bob Taylor winning a header just ahead of Hunt, the goal scorer, who still strives to get there ahead of goalkeeper Musselwhite. Well, Andy Hunt was signed when David Speedy and Luther Blissett had had loan spells, and Simon Garner had so many injuries, and he has proved to be the final piece in the jigsaw, perhaps. Foyle gets there ahead of Bradley. Now Porter. Foyle. Driven in hard, but straight into the hands of Lang. Reed. Taylor. Great play by Taylor. They're looking good now, Albion. McNally. Donovan. Well played, Ian Taylor. Really got back well then. And again, Musselwhite didn't make the best of the clearance. It's McNally to Donovan. Reed. That was a poor ball. Probably his first mistake of the game, actually.
Yep.
20 minutes to go here, and Port Vale are a goal behind, but on the attack with Van der Laan, who was fouled by Reed. Now Mickey Reed will be in trouble here, but I'm sure it'll only be a yellow card, not the red that the Vale fans are screaming for. Incidentally, Peter Swan, when he disappeared down the tunnel, told our reporter that he felt he'd made a genuine attempt to win that ball, and is obviously deeply upset at Mr. Milford's decision. Dean Glover with the free kick. Vale a goal behind. Foyle's header across the face of goal. Schroeder got it clear. Billing to Aspin. Fans want to get in the box as quickly as possible there. Slaven to Kerr. Back it goes to Slaven. It's a good ball, and whipped off his toe by Lilwall.
It's a good move, that, Alan. There's a lot of movement off the ball, and little Bernie Slaven was on the end there. It's just that his first touch wasn't quite right. If he'd have got that control right, I'm sure he would have got that on target.
Corner kick to Port Vale, who've come back well A player sent off and a goal conceded. Van der Laan getting up to try and win the ball, but Albion get it clear. And well played, Andy Porter there. He kept steaming on there. They're going to have to find energy from somewhere now, these Vale players. They were here only a week ago and had a very hard second half against Stockport. And they've got to dredge it up from memory now. They've got to keep running and chasing and fighting, and they will. Here's Hunt, the goal scorer. It's a dangerous ball. Billing lifts it clear to Van der Laan. And he's dispossessed by McNally. Now Hunt turns it in towards Donovan. Aspin, in the nick of time, gets back for Port Vale. And now he's given it away. Inevitably, the 10 men are facing real pressure from the 11 men of Albion. Raven lifts it on. And it breaks to Bob Taylor against Ian Taylor. Millwall up in support, but Bob Taylor's done well and goes down. And I think after what happened a few minutes ago, there was never much chance of a penalty then.
That's good defending by Taylor, great defending. He got back there well and stood up.
Great ball then by Slaven to Van der Laan. He was unlucky there, Van der Laan. Nice little trick over the ball, but Bradley read it well.
He did his little over, but he didn't fall for it, did he, Bradley?
And here's Bradley again, an influential figure in midfield. And it's given away by Reid to Foyle. He's all on his own though, Foyle. He's got to go alone here and wins the free kick from Reid's rather rash challenge.
You can just see there that he's running with the ball for Foyle. He's waiting for his teammates to get up with him and get around him, but they haven't got the energy at the moment. They've done a lot of running, the Vale boys. A lot of credit goes into it, but it was just waiting too long there and just got brought down from behind. Here's the ball in, comes in. There's the first header, hits the post. The goalkeeper gets the back of his hand to it, flicks it away, and here it is. There's Bob Taylor. He just brings it back, plays it simply, in it goes. There's the header. It's a brilliant header. Got to give credit where it's due. A brilliant execution.
Yeah, lovely goal. Lovely little ball in by Reid as well. And with 15 minutes to go, that's still the goal that separates them as Billing hits his free kick straight at the West Bromwich Albion wall. Just a shade over 15 minutes of normal time. Remember, should the teams be level after 90 minutes, we would have half an hour's extra time. Should they still be level, the game and a place in the first division next season would be decided on penalty kicks. In the second division, I should say. Here's Billing. Sorry. Oh, it's a terrible mistake, and Taylor could really punish them here and still could. Well, they got themselves in an almighty spot of confusion there. They really did.
You can't believe that. There was no need for this at all. Peter Billing plays a sloppy ball there, and I thought Bob Taylor should have really just said, get in there, you beauty. But he, goalkeeper again, spread himself. Good save.
This is a first division place they're playing for. I'm getting mixed up with my divisions. Today they changed it because of the Premier League. I think we all got confused. They are, of course, playing for a place in the first division of the Football League, and it's West Bromwich Albion who hold a vital lead at the moment as Taylor is dispossessed by Billing. And they had to go back, but that's not the way that Vale want to go at this stage. Less than a quarter of an hour remaining.
I think Runge's got a gamble now. If I was John Rudge, I'd be pushing a man up front. It looks maybe as though Taylor has gone to a forward position. He's got a gamble. It's no good sitting back 1-0 down. You've got to say, right, let's get somebody else forward and help out the front man.
Billing. Good ball. Flicked on by Slaven towards Foyle. Headed clear by Raven. And then Bradley turns a neat ball to Bob Taylor. The layoff to Lilwall. Back it goes from Hamilton to Lilwall. Hunt. Taylor. On to Donovan. He's made some great runs today. His finishing hasn't been too good, but he's done well. Here's Hunt. Knocked in towards Bob Taylor, too close to the goalkeeper.
Now, as you say, You look at Donovan, and he's always darting in and out of the defenders. He finds the space, makes excellent runs. Control is good. It's just that his end product for his finishing hasn't been the best of on the day.
Here's Kerr. Forward to Slaven, but Bradley gets in there first. Nicky Reed took a risk then and got away with it with a lovely little header to McNally. Bob Taylor. McNally again had a much better second half and a good ball to Taylor. Aspin whipped it away from him, but all the pressure still from Vale, although from Albion, though Vale have had their moments certainly in the last 10 minutes or so. Aspin did well again. Slaven. Taylor. Billing. Glover. Van der Laan. 13 minutes remaining. Port Vale 0, West Bromwich Albion 1. Porter. Foyle. Is that a foul? It is. And that's a very dangerous position.
Yeah, full credit to Port Vale there. They've played the ball about, they've been patient, they're knocking it about accurately, they're looking up, they're waiting for support, and it's happening. A lot of movement off the ball. Well played, Port Vale.
And they've certainly got a very strong position here from this free kick. Literally in the arc on the edge of the penalty area, so they're going to have to go back beyond the penalty spot and more. Could be a left foot shot from Glover perhaps. Van der Laan over the ball as well.
Back here.
It's Glover who's going to hit it. And McNally did well to come out and block it, and suddenly there's a flowing counter-attack on here. McNally again. A lot of players forward for Albion here. But back to the halfway line they go, and then Bradley lifts it on. Donovan controlling him down there. Bradley in to win it back, and Hunt did well to get there ahead of Kerr. Now Lilwall. Good run by the fullback, but he got the pass wrong to Taylor. Van der Laan in possession. A hint from the Port Vale bench that they're about to make another substitution. Nicky Cross, the striker, is their other sub. Here's Kerr, forward to Slaven. And not clear, and Taylor suddenly springs into the gap. And Musselwhite did well that time. Now Van der Laan, dispossessed. But Glover on hand to win it back and find Aspin. Van der Laan again, that's a good ball. Billing. Foyle makes a great run and he spots him, but overhits it.
That's what happened to Billing just coming on. You know, the turf, I know I'm repeating myself, but that ball does fly out here on the stadium. It goes that 10 yards quicker than you expect.
10 minutes to go. Port Vale 0, West Bromwich Albion 1. The prize is a place in the First Division next season. Aspin for Port Vale. Slaven. No foul. Bradley takes it off him. And a good ball too. Hunt holds it up nicely. And then Hamilton dispossessed. And now Slaven. Van der Laan to Kerr. Lovely layoff by Foyle, but it was very well read by Raven, who gets forward now for a 1-2 from Taylor.
He was looking for support there. He needed some support coming from behind. Very slow to get there, the West Bromwich side there. Should have given him early support.
Andy Porter lifts it forward, and it's not a bad ball. Foyle chasing with Strotter. Strotter gets a toe to it, and Port Vale get a throw-in and an opportunity to make a substitution. And Van der Laan is the player who will come off, the Dutchman. And the former West Bromwich Albion striker Nicky Cross, who spent 7 years at the Hawthorns in the early part of his career, comes on to replace him. 32 now, 12 goals for Vale this season. And straight into the action, as Porter does well on the byline and then gives it away. Hunt. And it breaks suddenly. Donovan. And Reid has got forward from the back. And he scored! Nicky Reid has surely now clinched a place in the first division for West Bromwich Albion.
It's great running from Nicky Reid. The ball has been played forward. Vale were on the attack. Suddenly it breaks. Donovan goes down. He looks up. He plays a little ball with the outside of the right foot. Reid gets a good first touch. Keeper dives out at him, and he just keeps his cool and places it in the corner of the net. I think he's had a superb game, Reid, and that justifies him, for me, hopefully being the man of the match.
And what a moment to score your first ever goal for your new club. Nicky Reid has made it 2-0 to West Bromwich Albion, and suddenly Donovan finds himself in the clear again. He's made some absolutely splendid runs today. He got an accidental crack in the face there, but play goes on. And that surely now, with, on my watch, 7 minutes remaining, has clinched the Baggies' place in the first division. They lead 2-0 against 10-men Port Vale. Here's Cross. Good effort.
Good strike. That's what they seem to have lacked, Port Vale. They seem to have lacked that finish. You know, Crossy there, turns quickly, doesn't think anything else but get a shot in, and his shot's on target. You know, they've needed that. They've needed somebody who can just create. Here it is here. Good angling by the goalkeeper, gets his body behind the ball well. Technique-wise, excellent. But a good strike at goal by Crossy.
But Vale still going forward in typical fashion. They really have contributed so much to this game today. Can they get a goal back now with Cross? It's a good tackle. It really was a good tackle. And Raven certainly came to Albion's rescue then. It looked as though Nicky Cross had his finger on the trigger.
Alan, I was just going to bring that until the fat lady sings, and there she was nearly singing, wasn't she? That was half a chance there. Good tackle, as you say, by Raven. Excellent tackle. Unlucky for Crossy.
Slavin, dispossessed by Hunt. Now Bradley, the gap's opening up inevitably as Vale pour forward. And Bob Taylor was offside. Our award for man of the match, made by Jimmy Greaves back in the studio, and he concurs exactly with John Sillett. It's Nicky Reid, who celebrated today with a goal, his first ever in Albion's colours, and a goal which might well decide their place in the first division next season. But Vale are not dead yet. Porter, the shot blocked by McNally, who really threw himself at the ball then.
Do you know, these Port Vale players have gone up in my estimation. I haven't seen a lot of them, but I've got nothing but credit for the way they fight and the way they're showing their spirit here. They're a credit to football.
Absolutely right. If only you could wave a magic wand and promote Port Vale and West Bromwich Albion, justice would be done. In fairness to Bolton, of course, they had a marvellous end to the season. Stoke City have always looked championship material all season long, but Vale have played some lovely football, and under John Rudge one can only heap praise on their attitude to the game and the way they played today. Really, I think the turning point, the absolutely critical moment of the game, was Swan sending off.
Well played.
Aspin going forward. Now it breaks to Foyle, and that was a good shot along the ground, and Lang did well to get down and keep it out.
There was a hint of Slavin there. He's a little sniffer. He followed that up. If that keeper hadn't kept hold of it there, it would have been in the back of the net. He follows up tremendously well. I love seeing that when strikers follow in. You watch him. Here he is. He was on his way in. Any mistake and he would have pounced.
4 minutes of normal time remaining. Port Vale 0. West Bromwich Albion 2. Good header forward by Cross. Foyle is onto it, and another opportunity goes begging. tiredness, really, I think, was behind that.
I just felt he should have lifted that over the keeper. If he'd have looked up, the keeper had just come off his line, was on a 6-yard box there. If he looks up, he just lifts it over him. That would have been possibly the effort at the time. But he's got to make the decision. He's tired mentally and physically, and he just felt that the best thing on the moment would be to have a crack at goal.
Well, no disrespect to the Autoglass Trophy, but if Port Vale could have swapped things round, lost to Stockport 8 days ago and won this one, I'm sure they would have chosen that. This was the big one, and this looks like being the one they're going to lose. They keep throwing men forward, as they have to do now, but all the noise around the stadium is from Albion fans. As Raven gets back to clear, he didn't really care where he knocked the ball then. 3 minutes to go. 3 minutes standing between West Bromwich Albion and a place in the First Division. And an offside decision will give them a welcome relief. West Brom, who haven't won promotion, as I mentioned earlier, for 17 years, are now on the threshold. And Ozzy Ardiles, who was in charge of Swindon when they beat Sunderland here 3 years ago, and they thought they'd won promotion to the top division then, only of course for that promotion to be changed around because of the financial irregularities at Swindon. What a grievous moment that must have been for Ardiles. What a sweet moment it will be if they cling on now in the last 2 minutes to win this. They've conceded a free kick. Foul on Slaven.
Here's Port Vale, though. They're still trying to penetrate. They're still looking for that goal. They haven't given up the fight. But West Brom look the side to have won the match at the moment.
Kerr curls it in. Well, it was a good effort, but not good enough at this stage. West Brom are going to make a substitution. Professional touch this. Try and break things up when the opposition are threatening. And the man who scored their first goal, Andy Hunt, is to be replaced by Gary Robson. What a nice moment for him. The longest serving player at West Bromwich Albion. No, it's not. It's Simon Garner, in fact, who they've sent on in the end. So they were holding up the Gary Robson number, but it's Garner who comes on. Another striker, another problem for Port Vale. As if they haven't got enough as it is. And here he is, straight away into the action. It's a good run too by Garner, but that's a goal kick.
He's come on with a message, Alan. He's telling everybody just to knock the ball in the corners, and for him and Bob Taylor to chase everything over the top of the back four.
We're into the final 30 seconds. Here's Dean Glover. One final throw of the dice, perhaps, for Port Vale. There'll be a couple of minutes, I would think, of stoppage time to add, no more. And surely the gap is too large now.
I'd like to see Port Vale get a goal. They've deserved that. They've come here, they've made a match of it, a game of it, and they've a lot of credit. I just think they deserve a goal for their efforts.
And right to the end, they're pressing. We now move into stoppage time. Port Vale 0, West Bromwich Albion 2. And surely now the Baggies are home and dry. Vale have got a free kick for offside. Mr. Milford has looked at his watch. Glover hits the free kick forward to Foyle. No problem for Tony Lang in the Albion goal. He's just got to do something sensible now. Foyle and his teammates have surely had their final throw of that dice. Bob Taylor with a good header. What a good, sensible thing that was to do to the brilliant Nicky Reed. It's a decent cross too, and Taylor turns it straight against Aspin and still comes out with the ball. And in the end, the man who has missed the chances earlier on has converted the one that comes in injury time. Kevin Donovan has given Albion a certain place in the First Division. 3-0.
Here's our man of the match, Reedy. He knocks a great ball in, just gets a touch. Bob Taylor on the deck there with Aspin, and the ball just breaks. If you watch it, it comes very kindly, and in you go. I won't miss that one. And that will make his day, because he's missed a couple of chances, Donovan, but his work and his running off the ball, being very unselfish, and he deserves that finish.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more. I felt sorry for him missing those chances early on. I suppose you shouldn't feel sorry for players. That's what they're there to do, of course, but he would have looked back on those misses forever with regret. Now he's got a goal to tell his grandkids about instead. Kevin Donovan, his 12th of the season, West Brom's 3rd of this playoff final, and the icing is on the cake for the Baggies. It's all over. West Bromwich Albion are in the First Division. The margin of victory in the end was flattering and did not do justice to Port Vale's performance. But you have to say that West Bromwich Albion, on the day, played well enough to deserve their place. John Sillett.
Wonderful advert for football, wasn't it? To be here was a pleasure and an honour. To be in this wonderful stadium and see two sides come out and play that type of football, both attacking, both trying to get the result at the end of the day. It's gone Albion's way. They played some great football, great movement off the ball, and possibly deserved it. But having said that, I do feel for Port Vale. Ronnie
Allen there, one of the great West Bromwich Albion heroes of days gone by. And we're going to hear the views now of Keith Birkinshaw.
Well, an amazing day for you in the end.
Yes, I didn't think that we played particularly well actually on the day, and I'm certain that the man going off and the Port Vale only having 10 men swayed it in our favour. But I'm just happy that we managed to get the 3 goals that we did, and of course we're going up into the next division, which is great for West Bromwich Albion and all its supporters. When you look at the scenes round us here, it's hardly imaginable that we're an old 3rd division outfit, as you might term.
Obviously the sending off was a turning point in the match, Keith. Swan in the dressing room is saying that he thought it was a fair tackle. Did you get a good view of it?
Not really. I mean, you were probably as near as I was to it. Bob was going through, he went down, and to be fair, I think the referee was about 25 yards away, so whether he had a good view of it or not, I'm not sure.
I should think Donovan's quite relieved he scored at the end there, because he had 2 great chances in the match.
Yeah, but this is what we thought. We felt that if our strikers pulled wide all the time, that he would get the chances through the middle. Normally he takes these sort of chances, possibly being here at Wembley meant that he didn't take the first 2. But it's nice that he scored the last one.
Now, what about West Bromwich Albion? A very big club once they get going, and obviously, you know, set up for the First Division.
Well, we're only on the first rung of the ladder yet, and obviously we've got to go on next season and try and do well again. With this sort of backing, anything's possible.
What about this partnership between you and our dealers? Because Aussie, of course, had great disappointment with Swindon having won a match and then it was taken away on financial problems internally.
Well, we seem to get on fairly well. I think the big secret is that we both feel that football should be played in the same way. A little disagreement on the odd occasion, but that's natural between any partnership. But yes, I think that we respect each other.
Well, here they're going up the presentation now to get the trophy. Tremendous result for West Bromwich Albion. The win in the end didn't spoil it for them.
No, it's been tremendous.
Well done.
Well, this is the moment they've been dreaming of all season, and Darren Bradley, 7 years at the Hawthorns since joining them from Aston Villa, is the man who will receive the special trophy that goes to the winners of this playoff final. 40,000 Baggies fans celebrate. The trophy is important, the place in the First Division far more so. Bob Taylor, Donovan, who, as we said, was so relieved to get that 3rd goal. McNally handing it on to Strodder, who had a heroic game. Lilwall, a non-league player just a couple of years ago, sharing a moment of delight as well. And there is Gary Robson, Brian Robson's brother, Albion's longest-serving player, joining in the celebrations as the unused substitute. So West Bromwich Albion join what for the Midlands area is a really remarkable lineup of clubs next season in the First Division. Nottingham Forest, Notts County, Derby, Wolves, Birmingham, Oxford, either Leicester or Swindon. And now West Brom are up there with them. And it's going to be a tremendous First Division for the Midlands next season. And of course, Central Television will be bringing you live coverage of it, as we have done throughout this season. John, West Brom obviously are a big, big club. And although you have to feel desperately sorry for Port Vale on the day, West Brom have done enough to earn their place. And I'll just interrupt there before you come in, because Gary is now with our man of the match, Nicky Reed.
Well, congratulations. Before we talk about the goals, I suppose the most important thing, of course, is that you're now promoted.
Well, I'm thrilled to have won the match. I've been here 4 times before, lost every time. Won today, feels brilliant.
Yeah, I think you marked Ozzy Ardiles when you played for Manchester City.
They said I marked Ozzy Ardiles, I didn't really. But we lost anyway. It's a great feeling to win at Wembley. Fabulous.
Now, for you, it must be a terrific relief, Kevin, because you had 2 great chances that you missed, and you must have wondered what was going to happen.
Yeah, I had 3 or 4 good chances early on. Well, it was just going to be one of them days where it didn't go in, but last 2 minutes it went in.
OK, well, you've been promoted. Well done, gentlemen.
Thanks very much.
Well, I think if you're a football fan, no matter who you support, you can't help having a lump in your throat and a feeling of terrible sympathy for these players now. There had to be a loser today. They've been playing for 9 months, from August right the way through to May, through all kinds of weather conditions, on all kinds of pitches, through all kinds of run-of-the-ball decisions and good referees and bad. And it all came down to 90 minutes today, and their season, it hasn't exactly ended in ruins. They had the Autoglass Trophy. They have the admiration of a large part of the football nation for the way they've performed. But you try telling that to these players now. There is no consolation at all.
Well, John Rogers picked them up before. I can assure you he will do it again. He's a superb manager, has had a superb year with a club that wouldn't be called fashionable, but he's done a great job for them. Their supporters can feel proud of them.
This is a cruel arena. In one moment, while the Albion players deservedly join in the celebrations of their supporters on the terrace, the Port Vale players troop dejectedly away, back to the dressing rooms, back to a couple of months, less than that probably, before pre-season training starts again, and they have to wipe the slate clean and start all over again.
But there's a side there, West Brom. They play the type of football that everybody wants to see.
Well, now, the turning point of the game was undoubtedly the sending off of Peter Swan. Let's hear the views of the referee, Roger Milford.
Roger, not easy to send a player off at Wembley, but obviously you're convinced he should have gone.
Oh, definitely. First one this season, had to be at Wembley, but it was so clear-cut, I'm afraid.
How difficult is it for a referee? They're only human when they're at Wembley.
Deep down in the heart, it's very difficult. But I'm here to administer laws of the game, unfortunately, and it was a clear-cut case, I believe. I haven't seen a replay, obviously.
Well, the player himself says, as you may expect him to say, that he thought he played the ball cleanly and he was very upset.
Oh, we have to make an instant decision. My decision, along with the linesman, was he took the player, a clear goal-scoring opportunity, no option but to go.
So you're quite happy about that?
Quite happy. Thank you very much indeed.
OK, well done.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, at least he came on and talked about it. Not too many referees would do that. And I have to say, sadly, as I said at the time, that I think the laws chapped Peter Swan rather than the referee. I felt he just had to go. But anyway, that's all gone. And one of the desperately disappointed Port Vale players, Andy Porter, is with Gary.
Andy, Wembley's not the place to come and lose, is it?
It's not, no. We won last week, but now this week we found out the hard way.
Did you feel you did yourself justice today?
We found it hard when we went down to 10 men. They play well. It's hard enough with 11 men against them, but at 10 men it's a mountain to climb.
Do you feel they played well enough today?
They scored 3 goals, was it? It's enough to win.
So at the end of the day, do you feel a little aggrieved? You got 89 points, you finished third, and you haven't gone up.
No, we knew at the start of the season that's what it is, and they won fair and square in the end. Can't complain.
Andy, thank you.
Andy Porter talking there to Phil Mappel, and a very fair-minded attitude he took to it, John.
Very honest, yeah. Can't really decry West Brom their win. They've done the business, they've come here to win, they've won, OK. We weren't happy possibly that they've done it against 10 men, but at the same time, they're there. Their supporters go back up that motorway, singing, chanting, and what a wonderful time they'll have.
Well, those who criticise the playoff system, you want to be here today. You tried telling 40,000 people from the Midlands that it's a bad idea. You tried telling 13 players. Well, Phil Mepham is down in the dressing room tunnel again with another Port Vale player, Robin van der Laan.
Robin, once again, I mean, it's not the place to come and lose, is it, this?
No, it's terrible. Especially, I thought it was a quite even match. But after Peter Swan was sent off, I thought it was only going to go one way.
You felt you were up against it in the second half?
Yeah, with 10 men, it's really hard, especially the way they pass it. If you got one man less, it's going to get really hard to close the spaces down. And I think they played really well the second half. Then we got one man less, and well, all credit to them, and all the best next season to them.
Okay, Robin, thank you very much. Commiserations.
And we can only underline again that Port Vale played a splendid part in what was a really excellent football match. The Albion players will milk every moment. I would think, John, when you're out there and you won something as big as this, you don't want to leave.
No, I'll never forget that day, Alan, will I? You go round here and suddenly it's like fairyland. You're there, you're on cloud 9, and you just feel, let's really enjoy this and take this in. Wonderful moments, and the supporters really are just giving you that feeling of greatness. You know, they've been following all year, those faithful fans, and now they've got their moment of glory.
The captain leads the celebrations and no one wants to leave the field. The goals by Andy Hunt, remember, Nicky Reed and Kevin Donovan providing the 3-0 victory here for West Bromwich Albion. Well, the chairman of West Bromwich Albion, Trevor Summers, is down on the pitch side now with Gary Newell.
Trevor, obviously a vital result for you. Has it sunk in yet?
Gary, I tell you what, it's going to take a few days to sink in. I'm going on holiday on Wednesday, but dear me, I'm so hyped up. I mean, just look at this lad here. That's the sinking in. It's tremendous.
So you do get big gates at home. So what does this all mean, Albion being in the first division?
Well, to you and I, now it means 11 local derbies, I do believe. So, yeah, well, it's fantastic. And it's about time we were there. You know, this league we've been playing is a tough league, and it's been hard to get out, but we're out.
What about the Ardelis Birkenshaw Act? You're going to keep that together and keep it going?
Certainly. There's no reason to think that we can't make Ozzy and Keith managerial pair at West Brom for a long while. I've been looking for stability, and this is what we've got to have. And these are the two guys that are going to take us into the Super League.
OK, well done.
Thanks very much, Gary. Thank you.
Well, West Bromwich Albion are a big club, and now they're on a big stage. It's been a marvellous stage for them here this afternoon. Once again, commiserations to Port Vale. There has to be a loser and there has to be a winner. Albion, the very emphatic winners in the end by 3-0 from John Sillard and myself. Back to Bob in the studio.
Thanks very much, Alan. Well, we thought that if one went in, it might open the floodgates, and it did.
It did indeed, actually. We all know the reason why that the floodgates opened. It was undoubtedly the Peter Swan sending off, but to be fair, Albion capitalised on it.
We'll talk about that incident and lots more after the break. Port Vale 0, West Bromwich Albion 3. That's how it finished this afternoon at Wembley Stadium, a game we've just enjoyed watching. So it means that Port Vale are back in Division 2 and West Bromwich Albion are promoted to Division 1. They did it all in the second half. This is how.
Taylor. And he did well to win it there off Porter and slides it through to Donovan, who's onside. He holds his head in anguish. They still went 10 yards away when it came in, and it's a tremendous header by Raven, and Musselwhite was in the right place at the right time then. Porter loses out. Hamilton knocks it forward. That's a great first-time ball for Taylor. Bob Taylor. The free kick has been given, for sure, and it'll be interesting to see what further action the referee takes against Peter Swan here. If he decides that Taylor was in a position where he could have gone on and scored a goal, then Peter Swan could be in big trouble with the referee here. He's off.
He's off.
Taken quickly by Albion. And it's off the post and off the line from Strotter's header. Taylor. Chipped in again by Reed. And it's in this time, yes! It's Andy Hunt. And it breaks suddenly by Donovan. And Reed has got forward from the back. And he scored! Nicky Reed has surely now clinched a place in the First Division for West Bromwich Albion. It's a decent cross too, and Taylor turns it straight against Aspin and still comes out with the ball. And in the end, the man who has missed the chances earlier on has converted the one that comes in injury time, Kevin Donovan.
3-0 it was. Everything hinged, of course, on that Peter Swan dismissal.
Without doubt.
The way we saw it at the time, we didn't think it was, but we'll have a look in a moment or two.
Yes.
But tell me, was the real change straight after that the fact that John Rudge made a change? Here's the dismissal again.
See, I don't book this as a sending off offence because Taylor's controlled the ball and he's actually running across Swan. Swan's tackled him. It was a clumsy tackle, but I believe he was going for the ball. And in my opinion, that was not a sending off offence. I think the referee should have made allowances for it. Immediately afterwards, we saw a situation where that was a great header, actually. And the keeper did well, I thought. Did very well to flick it off like that. But that's a great cross in from Nicky Reed, and Hunt gets the goal. And from then on, really, as we thought, it was going to be one-way traffic. Donovan, who might have had 3 on the day, to Nicky Reed, man of the match, quite rightly so. We made him man of the match before he'd actually scored that goal. That didn't even clinch it, so he was man of the match already. And here he is again, crossing the ball. There's a muddle, and at long last, we can see that Donovan actually does get his name on the score sheet, and he might well have got a hat-trick out of the game. But I think, without doubt, it all hinged on Roger the Dodger's decision. And it's I know the law's the law, and referees hide behind it, and it was great that he came on and spoke about it, but I still don't think it was a sending-off decision.
Thanks very much, Jim. Well, tomorrow afternoon, Jim agrees we'll be at Wembley because, of course, live on Central once again, we've got have a look at the pictures back at Wembley Stadium. I gather we've got through to the dressing room, and I hope they've all got their towels or their shorts around them, because that is the picture. There is champagne. Well, it's orange juice, isn't it? But I bet there's some champagne in there as well, Jim, because this are the scenes from the West Bromwich Albion dressing room, and who can blame them? They've had a wonderful afternoon, and just in case you're a late joiners, in fact, West Bromwich Albion are in the First Division. They've beaten Port Vale 3-0. Those were good scenes from Jim Agrees and from myself. We wish you a very good afternoon. Don't forget Leicester Swindon tomorrow.